Cruz joins us now with more. We have the House investigation into whether the DOJ has been weaponized. I don't believe we have equal justice or equal application of our laws at this point in our country's history. Senator, tell us what has alarmed you, and why would you ever think that Merrick Garland would appoint a special counsel to investigate himself?
Well, Sean, you're absolutely right that there's a two-tiered system of justice. This Department of Justice, this FBI, is the most politicized Department of Justice and FBI we have ever seen. You mentioned the House. The House is doing a terrific job. I had lunch today with James Comer. He and Jim Jordan together are doing a fantastic job of trying to hold the Biden administration to account. The House is the only body of Congress doing its job because Senate Democrats don't want to know the truth. They're not interested. But here's where we are on the facts. We now have two credible whistleblowers, both IRS career employees, who've come forward at enormous risk to their own careers, to their own livelihoods. And they've reported on corruption within the Department of Justice, specifically that Merrick Garland and his political appointees repeatedly interfered in the investigation of Hunter Biden, and especially that what they did is they protected the White House. They protected the big guy. They said no questions about the big guy. You're not allowed to investigate the big guy. Not only that, they alleged that the Department of Justice tipped off Hunter Biden's lawyers before they executed a search warrant, before they tried to question Hunter Biden. Repeatedly, they allege the senior officials at the Department of Justice obstructed this investigation. Now, we don't know if these whistleblowers are telling the truth. But if they are, if they're telling the truth, their testimony is flatly contradictory with what Merrick Garland has said under oath. I questioned Merrick Garland in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he told the Judiciary Committee under oath that the U.S. attorney investigating Hunter Biden had complete authority to investigate and that there was zero political interference. His statement is directly contrary to what the whistleblower said. The House needs to have a hearing. They need to have both whistleblowers under oath. They need to have David Weiss, the U.S. attorney, under oath, and they need to have Merrick Garland, the attorney general, under oath. Somebody's lying, and if Garland's lying, he committed lying under oath to Congress, which is a felony, and he committed obstruction of justice, which is a felony. He obviously can't investigate himself. So Merrick Garland should be recused from the entire matter, and the Department of Justice should appoint a special counsel to determine whether or not the Attorney General of the United States has committed multiple felonies.
With the honor and integrity to do it, and I'd like to get to the bottom of the 1023 form, but we're talking also about 6 whistleblowers, and my understanding is that tomorrow, John Solomon, investigative reporter, editor-in-chief at justthenews.com, he will be on this show. He has a document. In that document, it'll show the recommendation to, in fact, indict Hunter Biden on tax charges, felony charges, dealing with the years that have now passed the statute of limitations. If that ends up being true, would that mean that Mr. Weiss didn't do his job?
Well, it would, and what the IRS whistleblowers also alleged is that Mr. Weiss tried to get the U.S. Attorney in the Central District of California and the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia to bring charges against Hunter Biden for the most serious tax offenses. The cases had to be brought in D.C. and California because that's where the crimes occurred. And what the IRS whistleblowers alleged is those U.S. attorneys refused to bring the case. And to be clear, one of those U.S. attorneys was a political donor to Joe Biden. Another of those U.S. attorneys was a political donor to Kamala Harris. And their allegations, again, are directly contrary to what Merrick Garland has said under oath. And this is something I've talked about at great length on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. You look at these whistleblowers, both of them are career IRS employees. One, Gary Shapley, was a senior supervisory agent with a lot of experience. He has no reason that's evident on the record to lie. He doesn't appear to be a Republican. The other whistleblower, he's self-described as a gay Democrat with a man for a husband. There's no reason to think he's got an axe to grind with Joe Biden, and yet he's got the courage to call this out. We need a special counsel because the Attorney General is not above the law, and neither is Joe Biden.